Here's what I've got.
We are live. We are also giving it a few minutes just to ensure people catch on to the video here before we do our intros and everything. But we do have to kind of run this for a second just to make sure we see everybody rolling up on here. But hello, guys. Oh, there it is. It's rolling up on my computer. So hi, guys. It's a Vintage Librarian. Library Baby's here. And, of course, special guests, my parents. It is Doug and Tammy. Like I told you guys last week, Monday, we were supposed to get together, but it snowed, and we really weren't able to do anything that day, unfortunately. But thankfully, my parents came down to where I live today, and they are going to talk to you a lot about your finances, specifically credit cards. So I'm really excited about that because you guys know that I like to save money. You guys like to save money. That's why you're on this channel. So we're doing something a little different than couponing today, but it's very similar. So I'm really excited about that. And I'll just be here kind of monitoring the side, but they're going to do some talking first. We're kind of watching people come on here for a minute, but it's been about almost a minute and a half. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to my mom to start off. So if I roll off the screen, that's because I'm taking care of this one. But I think most people are used to me doing that. So I'll be listening. But all right, I'll go ahead and give it to you guys.
Okay. Good evening. We're so excited to share the next level in saving with you today. Now, bear with us. I'm going to be reading some stuff because there's just too much information and all very important to give to you to try to memorize all of it. So bear with us on this. Let's begin by giving you that 40,000-foot view of what we want to teach you today. We would really like each of you to understand why this system is so important, especially to savers like you. The nice part is if you are good at couponing system, man, you're really going to be great at this method also. The information is valuable to everyone to help keep and grow their wealth. We are so blessed to give you this today for free. Okay, absolutely the word free. Who doesn't like that? Our associates has helped thousands with this information over his more than 30 years of entrepreneurship in the mortgage and investment banking industries. Today we're going to talk about your credit and how to use credit cards effectively. So put down your pencils, your pens, your papers. We want you to understand why you are doing this process. We will send you all the important highlights later, and you can contact us with questions again. This is free. First, you will need to find out what your credit scores are. You're going to get a free credit report from annualcreditreport.com. Once a year. You can get this once a year for free. This is called a tri-merger report with 3 credit reporting bureaus, the TransUnion, the Experian, and the Equifax, on the same report. They'll all come on the same report for you. It gives you the most complete view of your credit history, and it's typically used for mortgages and large purchases. When you go to the mortgage company or do large purchases, this is what they're going to be pulling and looking at. Now that you know where you stand, how would you like to go on vacation for free this year? Finally, we can use this system to benefit us, not the banks. We're going to use this system to increase your credit card limits, lower your interest rates, remove annual fees, and maximize your benefits. However, this is a process, okay? So expect it to take some time, so please just be patient. After you get into the position by working the system, the next step is to open more credit cards with a 0% interest using the bank's money or OPM, how we like to say, other people money, for 12 to 24 months, free. They even have 0% interest balance transfer credit cards. But be careful because some of them do charge a fee to transfer that money. About 2 to 5%. 2% to 5%. Although it's 2 to 5%, it's better than the 14% or more that you're already paying on. There are 3 credit cards that don't charge the fee. And we will give those to you in information later on. Not to worry, you don't have to search for it. We've already done it and we will be giving that to you. The idea is to increase your limits ongoing to gain more credit, making the banks compete for your business, and they will when you get done here. At the same time, the increased limits automatically increase your credit score because your credit to debt ratio decreases. An example, if you have a $1,000 credit card limit and you have a $500 balance on that credit card, you're at a 50% ratio, or you're using half of your credit limit. If you're able to increase your limit to $2,000 and you carry the same $500 credit balance, your ratio is at 25%, a quarter of the credit limit, and you are automatically a better credit risk. This is how you can get your scores to increase overnight. That's, well, fantastic, right? I mean, this is stuff you're not just going to hear from anywhere, but we have our connections. Once your scores have increased into the best risk category, which is scores 720 and above, everyone wants to give you no cost and or cheap credit and all kinds of perks and miles and cash back. For instance, Discover has a card out right now that gives you a 0% introductory rate for 14 months at 5% cash back in most of the categories you are spending in couponing already. But the best part is they match it with another 5% in the first year. So that's 10%. Fantastic, isn't it? Wow. So what's in your wallet? Okay, now I'm going to turn this over to my husband, Doug, and he's going to walk you through a script for contacting your current credit card companies to get this process going.
Now listen, that thing was amazing, wasn't it? I mean, when you think about it, you could be using your card to leverage where you're going. Instead of paying like 5 or 6 different bills, wow, you're just using this one thing to pay everything you're doing. The ticket is budget. When you, like, if you've got $3,000 you're paying out in a month, stick to your budget. So here it is. This is how you're going to make what she just talked about happen. Now we know what we're doing here, all right? So let's talk about how we do it. The first step is to contact each of your credit card companies and request an increase in your credit limit. Okay, just like she said, if you owe $1,000 and you owe $500 on $1,000, you're 50% downloaded. Okay, but if you can bump your credit up to $2,000 and you don't spend anymore,
Right.
now you've got only 25% loaded into your account. So what we're going to do is we're going to call the credit card company, and here's what we're going to say. Hello, my name's Fred Flintstone. How are you today?
Of course, you use your name.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Fred Flintstone because they might just go ahead and hang up on you.
Right.
But for all practical, we're just using that.
Yeah.
So they'll ask information to verify your account with them. Answer their questions, because obviously you want security in your account. Then they will ask you, how can I help you today, Mr. Flintstone? Reply like this. Here's what I'm going to say to him. Listen, I'm about to make a large purchase, and I'd like to increase my credit limit today, okay? How much are you able to increase my limit without further authorization right now? And then be quiet. Wait for an answer. Wait for it. You know how you say that, Chris?
Yeah. Like that.
If they say, how much would you like, Mr. Flintstone? Ask for double the current limit that you have, up to $15,000. But at $15,000, say your credit limit's $15,000,
Right.
then you only want to ask for $5,000 more. If it's $20,000, you only want $5,000 more. There's a number that's attached to all that kind of stuff. So as an example, your limit is $1,000, ask for 2. And you've got $15,000, ask for 20. Also, let them know they can do a hard pull if they want to, that you give them the authorization to do that. A hard pull will affect your credit scores, but that's okay. Tammy used to work in all of that kind of thing. She knows all about it. She can tell you what takes place in that kind of thing. So if they are unwilling or they're unable to increase your credit limit, just ask for a supervisor. It's not over yet. Ask the same exact question to the supervisor that you just asked for the representative. We're going to provide these scripts so that everybody can do that on their own.
That's awesome.
Sometimes they will say, no, we can't do that. And that's okay. All right? Move on to the next card that you have in your list and check in with that particular company again in 2 weeks or a month.
Mm-hmm.
But keep working on it until you get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get your limit up double or at least 5,000 depending on what you have. After this segment is finished, after they get done talking to you, they either said no or they said yes. It doesn't really matter which one they said. Now mention they're gonna come back with something. They always tend to respond like this, and that is there anything else we can help you with today, Mr. Flintstone? And unless your name's Rubble. Well, now that you mention it, I have a 0% interest on my card that I have, my other card, not the one I got from you guys. Listen, it's supposed to last for 15 months. Can you give me a 0% interest promotion on your card for 12 months or so? It's like, I've got another card that's doing that. Can I do that with your card so I don't have to move the money away from it? Clue, clue.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for a response. If they say sure, then that's great, thanks. Why not if they say no? Are you sure that there's nothing you can do to help me? Be kind, be gentle. Remember, the people that are on the phone are just working there. They're only, they're just people. Mm-hmm. So be kind to them. Well, listen, that's okay. The other card I mentioned, they'll let me move my whole balance from your card over there. So that's no big deal. Thanks. And then leave that alone. Don't say any more about it. Again, like I said, we can come back to them again later if we need to. And if they don't give you what you want, come back in a couple of weeks. Remember, we're going to visit them again. After this segment's finished, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, is there anything I can help you with, Mr. Flintstone? And you're going to say, are you seeing a pattern here? Mm-hmm. Yes, as a matter of fact, there is something you can help me with. I was wondering, you're charging me an annual fee, and my other cards don't do that. Right. Is there any way you can eliminate that?
Sorry, we'll step back just a little bit. So go back just about.
Yeah, no problem. We had like technical difficulties.
Yeah,
where, like,
happens sometimes. I was really into what you were talking about too. I was really into it.
So like, you want to do your homework on this one. If you have an annual fee on your card, then you're going to want to talk about this. If you don't have one, skip this step. But if you have an annual fee, they're going to say, hey, or you're going to say to them, I've got an annual fee on my card. Is there any way you can remove it for me? I've been a customer with you for X number of years. Is there any way you remove it? And they'll either say no or they'll say yes. Just like with the other stuff, always feel free to come back to it again and again every 2 or 3 weeks until you get what you want. Interestingly, it usually doesn't take more than 3 times before somebody gives you what you want. Okay, after that segment's finished and you've asked about the annual fee, they're going to ask you another question. And that question is going to be, is there anything else we can help you with today, Mr. Flintstone? And you're going to say, as a matter of fact, there is. I want to know about your cash back or your points reward programs. What does your card, or what does my card give me? The card I have with you, what does it get? Is there any way you can do better? Now, here's where you guys want to do your homework. You definitely want to do your homework on this, and I know that you guys, of all people, couponers, are going to do their homework. Mm-hmm. On the rewards program, you want to find out what your card does. You can take a look at your statement from the month. There's going to be a rewards link and all this stuff. Go in and find out what you get, if anything, so that you know where to work from. they'll usually try not to give you a reward, you know, because it's not in their best interest. You have to ask. Also, know that other card programs to use, which you have available to you, you can leverage them, just like we did with the other cards. Hey, listen, I've got a 0% card. I can move everything over there if I want to.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what you do. After this segment is finished, they're going to respond with another question. And basically that question is going to be, is there anything else I can help you with today, Mr. Flintstone? At that point, they're probably getting scared. This guy's never going to get off the phone. And you're going to be saying, no, as a matter of fact, I'm good. Thank you. Always thank the person. Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you so much, Bill. Whatever their name is, make it personal with them. Because it's possible you'll get the same person when you call back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So a note of caution. A note of caution, you guys. Never close any major credit card account. Never close it. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, what have you. Now, I'm not telling you not to pay them off. That's not what I'm telling you.
Right.
But never close them, because if you close your card, if they move your card to another account or something, say your card's being moved, somebody else bought it or something's changing at the company, find out, quiz them, and ask them what's going to happen to that old account. A closed account has a very negative impact on your credit scores. In fact, once you open a credit card, you should not, or you should use that card every couple of months or so. You should use it for something. You know, go out and buy a pack of gum. Buy something that but then pay it off. And then it'll keep a running, it'll keep doing its thing.
Right.
And you'll be valid. Your credit will show up. You can have multiple cards open with one creditor, in fact. It's okay, right? So the more credit you have in good standing, the more they will fight for your business. And this will drive your credit score higher and higher and higher, which is what you want. Because one of these days, you're going to want to buy a big ticket item, like a house, a car, or what have you.
Oh, yeah.
So use your everyday purchases you make. Now, this is the ticket for you guys. Use your everyday purchases you make while couponing to your advantage. This is money you were already going to spend. You already have a budget to spend this. Now you're paying for these expenses with your credit card as if that credit card was a checkbook. All right? As a bonus, you get to earn the money. There she was talking about 10%. So you're going to get cash back. We've got a credit card where, we pay things into it. You go to a little spot on there and it says, hey, you got 17,900 points. Would you like $179 placed on your bill? Yeah, thank you. So you can just go ahead and pay that with that. So as a bonus, you're earning all of those benefits from your card, paying off your bills rather than the checking account. So if your checking account actually gives you better bonuses, then use that. But I doubt if it will. Then pay them off with the cash you would have spent, at the store that month. Not only do you achieve a much better credit standing, right? You're moving your numbers up, which can allow you to do incredible things in the future, buy a house, do all this different stuff. But you also get all kinds of benefits to boot. So you know what? I'm just going to quit right here and hand this back to Tammy and let her finish this thing out.
That's awesome.
Fantastic, wasn't it? Wow. Wow. I mean, great information for you guys. We're hoping. We are so happy to share some of the strategies we employ in helping clients, our financial services business. This strategy frees up money, to protect their families in the case of emergencies, allows them to start saving for homes, retirement, and even leave a legacy for their future generations. We will give Krista our email address to put on her link for you to send any questions that can't be answered today. Some things are a more personal nature or maybe too large for this forum, or we may have to bring our associate to talk on some issues that we can't answer. Before we get into our questions, we have said we would give you the cards that have 0% interest, 0% transfer fee, 0% transfer rate, and a no annual fee. These are perfect if you have a balance that you can't pay off immediately. and the interest savings from those 14% or more cards, you can go to pay those down faster here on these 3 cards that you can move to. The first one is Amex Everyday Credit Card, and that's by American Express. The second is Chase Slate by Chase Bank. The third is Bank Americard by Bank of America. Remember, this is a process now. Don't forget, be patient. And if you don't succeed at first, keep trying until you do. All the best to each and one of you. So back to Krista for the Q&As.
All right, so I'm going ahead and typing this into the chat here. It will be in the description box as well, so don't worry. It will be on both areas of just the 3 cards that she just mentioned. Here is the email as well. And I'll go ahead and start off with a question too, so we can kind of get the ball rolling. What would you do if you already have closed a credit account though?
Well, I mean, if the account's closed, you don't really want to fool around with it. I mean, let's just take a look. One of the things that we talk to people a lot is what we like to refer to as the amnesty box. You know, what you did yesterday may have been a bad thing, but what you do today and tomorrow are much more important. So if you've already got a closed account, don't play with that. Just leave it alone. But look to the future and start strategizing on what you want to do. You figure out the direction you want to take. So if, let's say you closed one and you did whatever, well, I've closed them in the past myself. We didn't know any better.
Closer.
And so you closed an account, deal with that. Like just, you know, okay, should have done that. Put it behind you. That's okay. We forgive you. You know, let's all forgive. And so we move on. So that's what you want. Don't worry about one that you've already done something with, because
you're going to start working forward on what you credit.
Okay. I just moved the camera up because somebody was like, just one person, but I think most people can hear you. Let's see, one of the other questions. And feel free to go ahead and type anything you guys have questions in here for. We do apologize about the cutie pie, but somebody did say she is a cutie pie, and they like the Fred Flintstone comment. Somebody says, I have my bank's card between emergency use car work on vet, so my card increased. I pay minimum because of a fixed income, and I have MO because no car insurance transaction went out. But praise the Lord. So that is I guess that's more of a comment from Deborah, so that's good. Somebody said, okay, this is from Jaded. One of my credit cards is offering me another card from them. I've been reluctant to accept because it does have an annual fee. Should I take the card or ask for any increase on the current one, or both?
Well, this is another one of those things. It's like, I want you guys to think about this. It's not just your credit cards, it's your telephone. I mean, whoever you get your phone service through, your cable, whoever you get your cable through, treat the credit cards the same way. These people are doing a business. You're helping them. They're not helping you. So treat it like that. If you have a second card, first weigh the 2 cards. You know, we've been facing the same thing. Somebody sent us a thing the other day. Hey, want another card? And one of the things that we found is you can outgrow a particular card. Like, we got it for this purpose, and it doesn't have any cash back, but it has 0% interest transfer. And that's not where we are right now. We don't live there right now. We'd rather have the cash back. So you need to decide what it is you are after and then go for that. But as far as like the 2 cards, I would really be hesitant to, hang on, let me help you there. I would be hesitant to get myself involved in a credit card that had a fee, an annual fee, because wow, there are just so many of them out there that do not. And so, listen, you can get back with us or with others. We'll help you do the research. But like the 3 that we just mentioned, they don't. And while, you know, you might not think they will, many of these, I think I got the Chase card when we were doing finances years and years and years and years and years ago. And so we were nowhere near the numbers we are. But I would suggest not getting anything that has a fee. Now, what you could do is start this business out, like call them up and say, hey, listen, I was looking at your card and I noticed you have a fee on it. I think a lot of the things about it, if it is good, I think a lot of the things in your card are really impressive, but I'm just not willing to pay a fee. Make them do the work. Because there's too many people out there competing for your business.
Right.
I mean, you guys are people who make them do the work.
That's true. Yeah. I like that. So, hopefully that answered that question. So, let's see who that was again. Miss Jaded. The links that they were talking about for those 3 that you need to check out, I did put it in our description box within the chat itself, but it will go in the description box as well. So definitely look into that. And again, guys, if you have any other further questions and you're like, wow, this was a lot to take in, I'm going to watch this again. The email for my father will be available for you guys to help yourself out. This is a free service, guys. Nobody's trying to sell you anything. This is a free service to help yourself out. So this is definitely something to look into. What is another question? What will be the best card or bank to go with if you're trying to build your credit up and pay on it, but don't use it?
Do I?
What will be the best card or bank to go with if you're trying to build your credit up and pay on it, but you don't really use it?
I will tell you another thing that we got from the Slate card.
The Slate card?
Yeah, the Chase Visa Slate. One of the things that's pretty impressive on that particular card, especially if you're in bad shape to start with on your numbers, like you're down around 5 something or whatever. Or 6 or whatever. So with that card will constantly keep track of what your current credit score is, but doesn't charge you anything for it, nor run a full credit report. So what happens is you can monitor your score as it goes up. So what you're really looking for are side benefits that people have in these things. Just like so many things. I mean, I sat and watched your program and you'd be like, okay, now these guys are doing this and these guys are doing that. And I went to this store and they'll help you. These people won't. And I don't even go there for this girl's cars in the lot.
Yeah, that's true. We definitely scope out people a little bit.
Now I would say, is she wanting to use the card at all, or is it just an emergency card? Or if it's a card that you're going to use from time to time, or as we talked about in this segment, if you have a budget and you know how to control your money.
They said time to time. They said time to time.
Okay. Take and use your card to buy your groceries. If you know I have, X number of dollars, say $150 a month in groceries, my utility is this, my rent or mortgage is this, pay those. If you have enough balance on your card, pay those with your card, and then at the end of the month, pay your card totally off. Now, we said do your research. Make sure you can get rewards on your card. Then that way you've paid all this on your card, you kept it moving, you kept your card relevant, and pay that off, and you're going to get rewards back, like cash back, miles, things like that. Gift cards. Sometimes you can choose things out of a list of stuff, but a checking account is going to give you 0.00 interest.
Right.
And if one of the rewards is, say, you're going to get 1.5%, the Discover is going to give 5%, and in the first year another 5%, so 10 years in that first year. I mean, that is huge. I mean, from nothing to that, you're getting 0.00 nothing, and you're getting a 1% or 1.5% reward. So I mean, to me, it's like couponing. You're getting that money back. I mean, you're earning it. It's just really, really cool. If you kind of think about it, it blows your mind.
You can actually expand really quickly. Nowadays, many of these things will actually allow you to pay these bills that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to pay with your credit card. We're paying like some of these things online and so forth. But the key, like you said, I think, is to stick to your budget.
Stick to your budget. If you have more than one card, like we were saying, use it at least one time every couple of months to keep those credit cards moving, because if you don't use your credit cards, the credit card company can put it like into a hold or even close it, which isn't doing you any favors.
Right.
Oh. Sorry guys, sometimes we have this turkey over here. She keeps things interesting, but I am still behind the camera trying to make sure I check people's questions and everything. Oh, well, now it's time to beat everyone up. Take this and throw it out.
This is almost like deja vu. I think I experienced this one. Did we
Probably.
Yeah, I think we did.
Hopefully that answered though. I believe that was Lotto Scratcher Dawn's question. But the next question is from Family Handshake. Just came on and I was wondering, I have an old Staples credit card I never use. Can I just close it? I'm not planning on buying another house or car anytime soon. Our credit score is around 820, 850.
Yeah, I mean, check with the company and find out what the ramifications of that are. I mean, obviously they're going to tell you something along the lines of, oh no, don't ever close your Staples credit card. That's a terrible thing. But, you know, what we talked about was a major credit card. You know, the big players out there, the people who, like Visa, MasterCard.
So your store credit card's not going to affect you as much as like the...
I would not go so far as to suggest that specifically, but what you can say is that
thank you.
one of the things they do take a look at, and Tammy could probably speak to that more because she was involved in the mortgage industry for a while too, and that is you can be in a situation where you've got credit things that really don't mean anything to, like, it's not benefiting your credit. You know, you've got this particular store that's not significant. So as far as the Staples card, I would find out what what's going to happen when you close it. You know, what do they do? Many of them, they just let it run out. And honestly, in a case like that, if you don't use it and you have it like that, you can let it sit and eventually it'll just kind of fall off the radar screen.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do, is I would just let it, if you're not going to use it, just let it sit and not be used and go dormant on its own. Or they close it on their own.
Yeah, they close it on their own.
All right.
She's got
Picking
a lot
her
of
up.
energy.
She does have way more energy than most people do.
Just imagine.
You know, if we could bottle that up, people, we could make billions and
Yeah, we
share.
can make a lot more than, yeah.
Someone else said, do you have to submit a debit card info to get a free annual credit report?
No.
No, not on a debit, no.
So
As a matter
that's
of fact, the
different.
credit report that she's talking about is tied more to your individual information, like your social security number.
Social
stuff
security,
like that. I mean,
okay.
they're not.
Yeah,
really
you're going to pull that up and it's just going to pull your credit report and any information that's in there, which actually, that is a good thing to do. You can get a free one once a year from the information we gave you.
Right.
But it's good to keep track of that, because sometimes, and it does happen, you get false reportings on your credit, and you should always go back and address it. You know, do what needs to be done to clean that up, to get it off. You know, hey, that's not me.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. It does really happen.
Well, and we help people with that kind of thing, but that's obviously a personal issue that you want to address kind of either through a web-based communications with us, over the phone at the worst, or even coming into the office or however it's convenient for you.
This is a question from Family Handshake. When should we decide to refinance our house? It's an interesting question.
Refinancing your house.
Okay. My suggestion on that, number one, what is your rate that you're paying on your home? Is it high? And what is the rate you could possibly get now on that? And do you know approximately what your house is worth? Would be another important factor on that. But if you're not going to get if you're only going to get just a like point 25 or something like that difference in refinancing, it's probably not going to make that much of a difference. Now,
Thank you.
if you want, for free, we could sit down with you and do some discussion
Right.
On that. Because if you're wanting to refinance because you're wanting to straighten up some credit and all, that's a whole other issue that would need to be sat down with and gone over a little more than what could be done here in this forum.
Well, and Tammy's bringing up a really good point, because like many times people talk about refinance, they've got something in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a reason for wanting to refinance.
Right.
And one of the things that we've found is there's a number of different means by which you can do that, but you need to kind of know what you're looking for. Because if you start out on a path to refinance and you don't have in mind what you're looking for, then you can end up getting the wrong thing. So there's not really one of those pie in the sky answers to that where you can say, oh, well, listen, 2.2% and above, you want to like, or, you know, spread, then you want to go ahead and refinance. On paper, it sounds good, but it doesn't necessarily benefit you. I mean, for one thing, like a lot of people are not aware, when you refinance your house, you got to run down and reestablish your tax benefits. You know, you got to redo all of that and attach it to your mortgage and fool around with all this different stuff. Plus, they're going to take a look at your insurance on your home and all these other things. Paying points. You're going to get evaluated. They're going to come in and do an evaluation on the home. And if they find out the home's worth a significant amount of money more, then you're going to get taxed on it.
Wow.
So there's a whole lot of different things you want to consider before you just up and refinance.
Or it could be even less than what you think it is, and then you've lost on that. If you're wanting to refinance.
Right.
That's
Now,
a discussion.
That's a big discussion.
When you go though from like we had when the market when the rate really went down, we went from around 10% down to like 2.35, 39.
That was 2.2.
2.2
Yes,
on,
we made a lot of
on
money
ours.
off of that.
So we saved on the back end of our loan a huge amount of money. So that would definitely be an example of yes, you do want to refinance.
Well, Family Handshake did say our rate is 4.75%. We were first-time home buyers. Our house value has more than doubled, so we have over 60% equity. Been here almost 9 years. Our credit is fine. It would possibly, I would possibly like to pay it off our house early, and then they did say thanks. So maybe I don't know if that's something you want to go over here, like you said, maybe something in the email.
Because we've
that's
got
a big discussion.
We've got some people that really blew our mind on the team. One of our associates had done some research and found out that you're better off having a home loan and capitalizing on the tax credits than you are to go ahead and pay your house off. And then even putting money into certain
you mentioned that the other day. I was like, what?
Yeah, I tripped on it myself. I was like, how can that be? But then we did the numbers and we cross-referenced how much money a person would make on the two options. We don't really have time to go into that right now, but it was an amazing thing to think about. I had always heard, just pay your house off and you're good to go. But the reality is you are getting a huge benefit in taxes because nobody's paying attention. You don't get tax credit anymore for interest on credit cards like you used to when we were younger. But now you just have for your mortgage and certain other things. But so that mortgage is a huge tax credit you can account for. And in some cases, depending on where you live, it can be better just to be paying on the thing than it would be to actually pay it off. I was amazed by the numbers.
That is awesome. I'm going to, Family Handshake, we are going to make sure we have that email too. In the main description box as well. It is in the chat further up, but like I said, we're going to make sure that's in the description box. So if you need to get a little further into that discussion with them, definitely feel free to email them, guys. I mean, you guys honestly have all my contact information too. So I get emails, I get letters. So I mean, it is there for a reason. It is totally okay to contact us through those means. It's great when you guys do that. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Somebody, making sure I'm not trying to skip anybody on accident. Hi, I pay all the bills with my credit card. Sally said, hi, I pay all the bills with my debit card. Should I pay it with my credit card that give points?
Yes.
And isn't that what you were talking about
There's
too, with
another-
raising the cap, and then you get those points back, and you get that money back, and then you can use it on something else?
Well, there's other little tidbits of joy that are attached to a debit card. Number one, you don't have the security that you would on a Visa card.
Yeah.
Like this happened to me. I bought something. It was the wrong thing. We took it back. It was $325. It took almost a week for them to put the money back in my account.
That's annoying.
So it is annoying. And then, you've got a situation where if you bought something and it turns out that somebody, like we have a credit card that doesn't have a huge amount on it. And we use that to buy things online. Well, if you're buying with your debit card and something goes wrong, you can get into a lot of trouble there.
Yeah.
So I always suggest that, the debit card's a wonderful tool. Many of them have the ability to not only be a debit card, but a Visa card. So if you're going to do something, make sure that it's in Visa and it's an account that's being credited. Tammy always makes sure I push the right button when we're at the store.
Yeah. That is smart. That is really cool.
I mean, it's like, okay, I have an on-shopping line that I shop through.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Amazon and some of those places. I pay a small fee a year.
Small fee.
Like $20 a year, and
Right.
I shop on this line.
Yeah.
Well, they also have where you can shop outside of their company, like Bed and Bath, Macy's, Kohl's, this and that, and they have what is called loyalty shopping dollars. Okay, get this. I will just absolutely love it. He almost burnt my coffee pot up. So we bought, I had to go in and we decided to buy an electric one for the house. We have one in our office, bought one for the house. I went in through that company, bought with a credit card, rewards, ching ching.
Yeah.
And I earned.
So keep going. We just stopped.
But through the other company, for loyalty shopping dollars, you can get anywhere from, I think it's like 3% on up to 30% loyalty shopping dollars on the amount of money you've spent.
Honestly, that makes me kind of think of like the rebate stuff we use that we talk about all the time. It makes me think about Fetch. Which Fetch, all you're doing is you're scanning your receipts and getting money back. And I've got almost $50, so I'm going to spend that at Sephora or something.
Right.
For myself, or maybe something for the kids. And
So that's twice I got money. It's like, hey, if I'm going to.
Oh yeah, I love rebates. Rebates are the best.
Just absolutely.
Loyalty dollars is amazing.
I think that's one of those things that we really like. We really appreciate. We got another good friend that's into couponing, and one of the things I'm just amazed by is it's not just a matter for many people. It's not just a matter of saving some money. It's like being king or queen of hunters. You're out there with your bow shooting down some huge beast. Making it happen for your family, and I think that's where a lot of people really appreciate that sort of thing. But back to the specifics of it, I try to avoid using the debit portion of the card.
Right.
It has benefits to it in certain cases, but unless you're getting some reward points, that's what we're shooting for, folks. Reward points, lower card interest, or for people who are doing a transfer, go to that. And then finally, the last piece is you want to get your numbers up. Some of the people said they already have outstanding numbers, and that's great. But you can improve in the other areas. A lot of people aren't even aware that that's going on. We used to. I mean, we went through this. How many years ago? 30.
I'm 32 now,
Yeah, so we went through this before. It's no surprise. We probably handle it better now than we did then.
You did handle me better.
No, I mean it's not my problem. It's like Kristen's problem.
Oh my goodness, my kid is a mess.
No,
we keep lives interesting at all times when she's around.
But yes, if I would switch to my credit card over the debit card. Get your rewards.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're talking about when you told me about extending the amount of money that's actually on your credit card, and I didn't even realize that how much if you had $1,000, you've paid your you've got 500 on there, you've got 50% debt, but then if you
Debt to ratio.
but if you raise that and then you're just making it even better for yourself, it's not like you're already going to pay it off and then get money back in your bank. That's awesome.
Which actually too, though, it makes your credit risk a better risk. So if you're looking at buying a home or a major purchase and your credit rating's not terrible, but it's not as great as you would like to get that best deal at the bank or the mortgage company, follow the instructions that we gave to raise your credit risk and your credit numbers. This will definitely help because they look at that, your credit to debt ratio, and that will totally credit to debt ratio.
Our next question. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt?
That's fine.
Our next question is from Maruka. It says, "Hi, Vintage. I have 2 teenage sons leaving for school. What would be the best credit card for newbies wanting to build credit?" That's a good one.
Do they have a job?
Yeah, do they have a job? Maruka, I know it's been a while since your question, but if you could tell us if they have a job, looks like that's going to make a difference on there for sure.
One of the things that we can go ahead and start talking about a little bit is there's a number of different cards that don't typically fit into the kind of thing that we're talking about here, but rather they work really good for a situation like she just mentioned, in that you can put, like, say $500 into this card, and then that's what they have. And then it can be reloaded from time to time, and then you don't have to worry about, like, oh, well, he just ran up a $2,500 bill, someplace, or she just did that.
Which is
that way you maintain some level of control with that.
Wow! We all want, when our children go off to college, to start learning to be independent. But you kind of really have to judge on your own child on their responsibilities, right? Some children are great about that, and then some kids go hog wild. Oh, I have this credit card. Because believe me, and please talk to your kids about this, when they go off to college, there are people with the credit card companies, and they'll have tables all over the place. Hey, sign up for a credit card and we'll give you this free t-shirt, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, hey, why not, and they don't have to have a job. A lot of them, they don't have to have a job. They, kind of get these credit cards and they max them out. And then they owe all this money, not just on their school, but on a credit card, and it just becomes a big, huge mess.
So if you can control it, that's better.
Control it, that would be great.
Or have one with a really low amount that you don't feel like it's a problem.
Yeah. Okay. A low credit card, 500.
I think that, any one of the cards that we mentioned, the 3 that she talked about, those are good cards for that kind of thing. But you want to make absolutely certain that they don't give you, first off, the bill needs to come to you, not to them. Never, and they are able to sign on it, but they don't make any decisions. They can't call and say, hey, listen, I want more money.
They said yes, they both work in pipeline oil field.
Well, that sounds good.
All right. If you get them a credit card, I would definitely get them one that's going to get points and stuff to it.
Yeah, that's what I would shoot for.
0% interest, no fees.
Especially since they're working.
Maybe you remember this. Lotto Scratcher asked what card is that, but I don't know.
Which one?
Yeah, they'll need to, Lotto card, you'll need to
let's see,
elaborate, because there's quite a few things. But while they elaborate on there, because I know it'll take them a minute to type on here, they said, actually, Lotto Scratcher asked, what if I ran into a lot of money from the lottery? What will be the best to invest in now so I'll be set later in life? Thanks.
Well, and you know what? We get that stuff a lot more than you might think. I know we've said this before, but one of the things that we help people to do is realize kind of what it is they're looking at. In many cases, we're talking to people for the very first time when it comes to a financial question or how they're going to direct their future. and they don't even really know the questions to ask. I mean, you're not alone in this. That's what we run into. So if you just came into a lot of money, there isn't, and you've got a significant amount of money. Let's say you're in a lottery. Generally, there's quite a lot of money in this.
Yeah.
So if you're in that shape, it's probably going to be over $5 or $10 million. Right? In a setting like that, you don't want all your eggs in one basket, and there's a whole lot of good baskets to put in. Yeah. But we need to know a couple of things about who you are. What are your tolerances for risk? What do you plan on doing in the future? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? What's your aversion to taxes? How much can you pay? All of these different questions have to be gone over, and it's not something that you can just immediately answer. And a lot of times I think people believe that, having a lot of money is a really simple thing and you just do that, but there's a whole lot of work that would go into maintaining that wealth.
Exactly.
Geraldine asked, do you think Credit Sesame is as accurate as annual free credit report?
I'm not familiar with that particular one. Generally, and this is one of those things, I'm not suggesting that Credit Sesame is a bad thing or a good thing at all. And one of the things that we do is, within our organization, we typically want to stick to one thing that we're familiar with. And the fellow that we are working with has a great deal of time and experience in this particular product. And so
kind of working with what you know.
Work with that particular one. Just like on budgeting, we talk to people about certain things to use for that. Or
it's kind of like we're awesome at Dollar General, so we know the system here.
That's what you guys do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And I would say if Credit Sesame does not give you all 3 credit reporting, then it's not as good as the other.
Well, and generally what you're going to find is people are going to charge you for things that honestly you can get someplace else for free. I mean, they give you a great service and everything. I don't know, but in many cases they do. But you're actually paying. A perfect example is when you want to get your website name renewed.
Right.
That's actually $15. But what happens is people will send you a thing in the mail. Hey, listen, for $130, we can get your website reset up and you're good to go. They just made $115 off of it.
Yeah. That is nuts. This next question is from Jaded. Do they practice/believe in keeping all CC credit card balances at 30% or below?
CC.
I guess they're meaning credit card balances. Do you practice or believe in keeping all credit card balances at 30% or below?
Well, I mean, we have all of ours pay off, period. One of the things that we want to try to do is get to that state, and then but that's pie in the sky for some people.
Right.
And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I was in a place where I was in much worse shape than that. Right. And it was all Krista's fault too, by the way.
Sorry.
No, the thing is like if you can reduce all of them. Yeah. Oh, you're going to need that over there, so take that to mommy. Yeah. Reduce all of your credit cards down as far as you can.
Right.
Obviously, it'd be best if you can pay them off. But here's where the trick comes in, and this is what Tammy was talking about. What you want to do is if you take a look at your credit card balances, you got 3 of them, and they're all one's 14%, one's 16%, and one's 15%. And then you can get one of these introductory cards like she was talking about that has 0% for like 18 months. Well, what if you could move all onto that? Now you pay 0% for 18 months. Just pay that dude down as fast as you possibly can.
That's not something I even knew, that you could move your credit card balance to another credit card. I never knew that. That's really neat.
But you would take what you would normally pay on the other ones, because they're higher interest rate,
right,
and pay that onto the 0%, paying it off quicker.
Yeah,
it'll go quicker.
That's smart. Connecting. All right, it is back on there. Sorry, guys. You know how the app likes to drop us on here. One of these days, YouTube will get it all together for me. But it says, appreciate your time and info for educating us tonight. Thank you. A lot of people are saying thank you. They do appreciate your time, so that's really nice of them. And Marika's got a last question. We may wrap it up with that too, and then just in from there and put your information on here. It says, last question, what credit card or company should we absolutely stay away from?
Well, I guess you would understand, in our particular line, we aren't able to divulge such a thing like just globally. Like we can't just say, whatever you do, don't go with these guys.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get, you cause problems.
Yeah.
Not only that, but what can happen what can happen is like in one state it could be really bad with those guys, but in another state it could be just fine, you know.
Yeah.
So what we've found is you just have to do your homework. You just have to kind of do your homework. There are some that are better than others, and I would be willing, I mean, we can talk to you independently about that sort of thing, but what I would really suggest is whatever you've got, let's take a look at that, find out what you have, and then see if maybe we could take a look at.
Well, I'd just like to thank everybody for their time and patience again.
Yeah, thank you.
And, you know, just one other thing to kind of remember, the information and stuff we're giving to you for free. We do sit down with people for free and help them with their financial lives. And a lot of other companies, though, they do charge that either per hour or just a huge amount of money just to sit down and discuss your financial.
We just sat down for an hour really and learned a lot already. So
and
Well, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go ahead and say bye to everyone. I'm going to make sure I put all questions, or actually not questions, but their email and the credit card companies you can look at, and then there was the credit card report in the description box below, so you guys can refer that. Feel free to email them. Again, I said this earlier, but we have our information on here for you guys because we want you to contact us if you have a question. I'm a little slower because I have 2 other jobs, but this is what they do. So if you send them an email, they're going to get back with you pretty quickly. So if you have any more further questions or you want to talk about anything, just give them a ring, check them out and talk to them. So thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys for putting up with the library baby. Some people were like, what's with that crunching noise? And I'm like, the baby's here. I'm sorry. I didn't have a babysitter on a Saturday. So sorry, but thank you guys. We will see you guys next time, all right?